Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, and welcome to Barnabo Stadium on the beautiful campus of Romeo High School for tonight's NISA soccer match featuring the Savannah Clovers and your Michigan Stars. Officials for tonight's soccer match is assigned by NISA, the head referee, Nicole Green. Assistant referee number 1, Marcus Barnett. Assistant referee number 2, Evan Barnett. And the fourth referee, Ryan Hummick. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Active duty and veterans may leave their caps on while rendering the military salute as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Time for NISA's Match of the Week on 11. We're at Barnabo Field in Romeo, Michigan, the second meeting of the season between the reigning champion Michigan Stars and NISA New Boys, Savannah Clovers. Great to be back with more NISA action on 11. Mason Lowry with you. I'm delighted to have my pal Chris Schmidbauer with me in the booth for this one. The Stars trying to stay unbeaten on the season against a team that they would probably tell you they should have beaten the first time around. Of course, the Stars went down to Georgia, played the Clovers in their first professional game, could only get a 1-1 draw.
Well, and as you said, when you come out, you've got a brand new franchise. Anytime you draw in your first professional match, you'll take that. That's a win as far as you're concerned, and then the opportunity to maybe come on the road and upset the Stars on their home field, that's certainly something that Savannah's got to be looking at tonight.
Yeah, Michigan Stars, 2 wins, 2 draws through 4 NISA matches. Left it late, but they're coming off a 2-0 win on the road at Maryland Bobcats. Last time out, a late goal from Nash Popovich, and even later penalty kick from, of all people, the goalkeeper, to Tenda Makruva. The penalty kick followed by 4 or 5 backflips, 4 or 5 more flips than I've ever done. Savannah Clovers on 5 points from 6 matches. This is a team that has the worst defensive record in the league. They've conceded 13 goals in 6 games. They need to shore that up, and it has to start tonight.
Well, anytime you're conceding that many goals, it's certainly going to be difficult to win a lot of games, especially when you've got the defensive backline that Michigan Stars has, a team that's not known for allowing a lot of cheap goals or easy goals. So as far as Savannah's concerned, if they want to come out of here with a victory tonight at Romeo High School, it's going to be very critical to make sure that they can shore up whatever defensive effort they can have.
And I think you've picked a good night to be here. First time that I can recall, Michigan Stars wearing their away red kits here at home. The red shirts, blue shorts, white socks, red, white, and blue. First responders, by the way, getting in free tonight. A salute to the military and police and fire, etc. The first home match for the club since Memorial Day. And Savannah Clovers in all green, and that's Nicole Green, the woman in the middle tonight, with Marcus Barnett, Evan Barnett, and Ryan Holmick, the 2 assistant referees, and Ryan is the 4th official. Savannah's first ever trip up here to Metro Detroit. The man to watch for them is Andrew Barrowman, who scored Savannah's first ever professional goal. That was against the Stars in the second half, canceling out the opener from Noah Robinson, who has really been banged up since then. He did not play last time around for the Stars against Maryland, is not dressed tonight either. Berriman is a big talent. Big Joel Bunting in the middle. Not quite as big as the big man for Michigan Stars, Leon Marich, who goes 6'5" and has scored a couple of times this year.
Well, and you don't really know what 6'5" looks like until you're actually face-to-face with somebody. It's always funny when you're actually live and in person and just to see an imposing figure like that of Leon Marich.
Almost immediately, Savannah Clovers lose that out of play. Let me run you through the teams. Tatenda Makruva in goal for the Stars. Yakov Shmelev, he's back. He got sent off in the Stars' first home match against Gold Star Detroit for a second yellow card. Kataro Umeda, Leon Marich, whom we talked about. Jacob Campbell, back from last year's NISA Championship side, along with Andres Chalbut. Ahmed Shaibu Jr. is making just his second appearance for the Stars, along with Ezra Brown, Garrett Hogbin, and Artem Baranovsky, the two center backs, and Anthony Bowie, who scored the winner in last year's championship match. Will be part of that midfield three. Here's Brown with a touch, a little bit loose, looking for Bowie, hacked away by Savannah. Savannah's made a change between the pipes. Russell Robles, who's only 19 years old, gets the start. Daniel DeLeon, Mason Moyers, Alex Iorides, Joel Bunting, Zach Hargreaves, Andy Sanchez, Ford Hunt, Andrew Behrman. We talked about Shandon Wright and Chandler Vaughn. Both Wright and Vaughn have been capped at U.S. Youth International levels. Chandler Vaughn, in particular, a really good pickup for the Clovers, drafted 60th in the 2022 MLS Super Draft. Marich unable to get a cross in behind for a goal kick. Yeah, Vaughn was drafted by LA Galaxy last year, saw time for the reserves in USL Championship.
First touch for Russell Robles, and 19 years old, getting that first start. You have to imagine these first few minutes are going to be really critical for him in net. Those first couple of saves or those first couple of movements that you have to make to try and slow down a possible goal, those are always critical, and make sure he settles in really quickly because, as we said, with that porous defensive back line for Savannah, he could be under duress very quickly.
Well, the Stars, they really hang their hat on being a difficult team to break down. And it's a terrific back four with the two big men in the middle, Hogbin and Baranovsky, two new center backs from last year. Jacob Campbell on the left side, who's so good at getting forward, and Yakov Shmelev, who's a big unit on the right side of defense. Tatenda, long-serving Michigan Stars goalkeeper. He's got a really good backup in Noah Lawrence, who played collegiately at Cincinnati and Ohio State. He's keeping him out of the team. Here's Ezra Brown, taking this to the corner flag, met by Chandler Vaughn. And that came off of Vaughn, much to the chagrin of his Clovers teammates, and Michigan Stars have an early corner.
As I said, Robles will be tested right away here. Stars would love to put one on someone's frame and see if they can beat Robles.
Well, guys like Baranovsky and Marich, of course, and Hogbin will be targets. An in-swinging delivery coming from Jacob Campbell, who's up from left back for this. Line drive to the near post, headed away by the Clovers. Good touch from Hogbin, and here he comes. If he can get this down the line, whip across in, goes back post, but over hits it, and that's behind for a goal kick. He was one of the best defenders in NISA last year, Garrett Hogbin, with Cal United Strikers, who are on hiatus this year.
So far early, it seems like Savannah's trying to emulate what Michigan Stars has done, which is to try and go over top of that back four, but so far Tatenda Makruva's up to the task and certainly isn't letting anything pass, and they've done a nice job of transitioning back to pushing downfield.
And Campbell has gotten into space, able to stay onside. No chance for the initial cross. Bowie will try one on the right foot. That's allowed to bounce in the box. Nothing that Brown could do with it, though. That's Moyers, who is a NISA veteran, was with Syracuse last year, but that's right out for a throw. Michigan Stars, they do have a couple of guys that are really adept on long throw-ins. The Stars took the throw-in really quickly at about 25, 30 yards further back than they might have otherwise been able to. Jacob Campbell was asking for it at about the 30. He is one of those guys that has a good long throw-in.
I guess nobody alerted Campbell at all that they had already thrown in. He was still waiting for the ball.
Ford Hunt, the South African, put that right back out for a throw. The Stars can reset. Ford Hunt played for 3 years at Memphis. Went to the American International School in Johannesburg before moving to the States and playing his high school ball in Alabama. All state there as a senior. Here comes Hogbin. And the Clovers sitting back so deep and trying to take a page out of the Stars playbook and being difficult to break down. Here comes Chandler Vaughn, who has pace to run away from you. Barrowman left it for him. First real spell of possession for Savannah Clovers, and Joel Bunting with a little shove on Baranovsky. He went down kind of funny on his hand or wrist.
Yeah, I think he rolled it up underneath him. Have all your weight landing on a wrist that isn't supposed to bend in particular ways. Good news is with this sport, you don't really need the hands. Doesn't make it hurt any less.
Of course, if you're a goalkeeper, it's something you can't live with.
That's true.
Center back can maybe deal. Looking for the run of Maric. He goes right through Russell Robles, and the foul goes against the big Bosnian center forward. Robles is down in a heap in the 18. It's with Flower City Union last year. He's taken the spot of Jack Pondy, the regular goalkeeper for this match anyway. Pondy's on the bench along with Theo Wickman, Aaron Martinez, Yakov Pomazov, the former Michigan Star Adon Tate, Michael Green, Sonny Quintanilla, and Benjamin Mackey. Stars bench, Noah Lawrence, the substitute keeper, Milo Barton, Robert Yunchai, Prosper Figby, Niels Lelouch, Hunter Olson, and Nash Popovich. Popovich is a player that can give you 30 really solid minutes in the second half. He's a former Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. His grad year at Michigan, he was outstanding. He can certainly be a difference maker at this level. 5 is De Leon.
Well, he's from Rochester Hills as well, so right in the neighborhood. You don't have to go very far to watch a guy from nearby play.
There's Vaughn up on the left. That's a decent cross, but taken on a bounce by Makruva. He'll in turn get rid of it quickly for Maric. That is a sliced, really poor attempted clearance. Goes right behind for a corner. That gives the Michigan Stars an early opportunity. Second corner of the match.
Ezra Brown thought about trying to give it chase, and then once he realized it took that weird hop off of this artificial surface here, all of a sudden didn't look so bad just to let it go out of play.
On Michigan Stars bench, they would love nothing more than to hop up and celebrate an early goal. And, well, Baranovsky made great contact with that, but could only send it over the bar.
Right idea, though. Put it right on Baranovsky. He was able to get contact with it. Maybe wasn't as forcible as what he would have liked to have seen.
Looking for Bunting here. Hogbin is with him. Joel Bunting has scored once this year. He scored the winner in their only league win to this point. 84th minute thumping header against Gold Star, the other Detroit team. Boy, a free kick. This will be right near the edge of the box. And a yellow card for Garrett Hogbin.
Was a great read by Andy Sanchez of Savannah to just recognize the pass, was able to cut that lane off and get the turnover, and now, as you said, a free kick on the edge of the box. And this is going to be a real tester already for Michigan Stars, and Makruva will be surely likely to have to make some kind of play here.
Ogben took out Andy Sanchez. Barrowman and Hargreaves standing over the free kick. And that is right on the edge of the 18-yard box, though not one you can really put on frame from here.
Very lucky that that wasn't inside, because obviously then all of a sudden we're talking a lot more dangerous of a chance with a PK.
Well, that's certainly one thing you can try. Hit it into the wall and hope for the best on the deflection. It is a corner for the Clovers. 11th minute. Stars putting a header over the bar from a corner by Baranovsky. The Clovers with their first corner. This is Sanchez, who was fouled to give them the free kick a minute ago. It's overhit and the half volley is sliced. Anthony Bowie. Tremendous athleticism. Allows him to play in a number of different roles. That's off of him, though, and the Clovers have a throw-in. Well, they've gotten some good results so far this year, the Clovers, notably the 1-1 draw with Michigan Stars. They also drew 1-1 with Chattanooga, which was a bit of a surprise. In fact, that's a match they nearly won. Took a goal from a corner by Anatoly Prepelica, the Moldovan international, in stoppage time for CFC to rescue a point. But they've also been beaten 5-0 at home by Gold Star in April. Albion San Diego beat them 4-1 last month. All part of the growing pains of being a brand new professional club. Existed in the amateur ranks for a few years, starting in UPSL in 2018. It's one of the really cool things about NISA, the fact that it does give a pathway for amateur clubs who want to dip their toes into the professional ranks. Like Clovers, Club de Leon, one of the other new teams this year. Of course, Michigan Stars began in the amateur ranks as well. Detroit City did before they left for USL Championship. Here's Sanchez. Chance to get a cross in that set it down, but scuffed and easy enough for Makruva to collect. That was Iarides, the Cypriot Youth International. Played for Cyprus at U17 and 19 levels, and then came to the States to play collegiately at Coastal Carolina and then at Memphis.
It does feel like Savannah's, though, been able to get a little bit more organization on the attack over the last few moments early on. As you said, it felt like they were very passive and kind of conceding, bringing a lot of people back, but now starting to trickle some guys downfield a little bit to try and make some attempts.
Well, even if you want to play nice, free-flowing soccer, when you are conceding a lot of goals, you sometimes have to consolidate and really commit more numbers to defending and keeping your shape. And nobody making a run, really. Get on the end of De Leon's through ball.
No, but I think they've picked their spots well early on, too. And I think sometimes we've seen it certainly in different levels that we've called where teams perhaps are too passive, and at that point it only takes one to beat you. And to see them being a little bit more, I guess, aggressive, trying to pick some spots to attack, that's going to help you down the line. And again, if they can get that first goal, all of a sudden the pressure amplifies even more so on the home team.
That's well intercepted by the Stars. That was Campbell, the left back who got caught centrally there.
Yeah, that may have been goal number 1 for Andy Sanchez if that gets through.
He had 4 very good seasons at the University of Dayton, Andy Sanchez. That's Brown cutting in. Back with Kotaro Umeda. Looking for Marich's run. Knotted behind for a corner. That was Vaughn getting back defensively.
Just feels like Leon Marich makes some kind of effort of any kind that it automatically makes an impact on the game, because you could just see the panic knowing that you've got a guy who's 6'5" trailing behind you and just headed out of play. And I don't know that if the defender sees it that Marich would have ever got there to touch.
And he scares the living daylights out of opposing defenses. Here's Brown with a shot from distance, well wide in the end.
But you could just see kind of as the defender was retreating to chase after that long pass that he felt like the only play was to just play it out behind. And reality is Marich would have never gotten there to touch it, but just the thought that you've got a guy that big that can control the ball and can definitely hold space on the pitch like that, that definitely makes you think twice.
Andy Sanchez was frustrated there that the right kind of ball wasn't played his way. Moyers hits that off of Umeda. He played collegiately at both Louisville and Akron. He's also played in both Brazil and Portugal. Born in Tokyo, but moved to the U.S. at the age of 6. Throw in for the Clovers.
Akron's one of those men's soccer programs that you'd never know unless you follow the sport how good that program historically has been.
You don't see a great many college programs. We'll pick up this point in a second. This is a terrific run, and it might give Irides a chance. Put behind for a corner. You don't see a lot of collegiate programs sending coaches like Caleb Porter to the national team level and into MLS.
Always astounds me who they will play as well. They are not afraid to play anybody, and I think that just speaks to the level of oftentimes Mid-American Conference teams aren't thought of highly in a lot of different sports, but Akron is certainly a national power in men's soccer.
Irides on the delivery. That's overhit. De Leon with a chance to keep this in, which he does. Shot for a throw-in near the corner flag. That's Marich closing him down. We had mentioned briefly Michigan Stars has a couple of players with a good long throw-in. It's Mason Moyer's turn to show us what he has. Barrowman, that's right through to Makruva. Well, he scooped and sliced that a little bit. Boy, that's another poor defensive header from the Clovers. A great closing challenge by De Leon, who is down. He might have come down awkwardly on his arm. I think that's what he's grabbing at, his elbow.
That sliding tackle, though, again, all of a sudden you've got a guy, and I know I've said this already, but when you see someone that big, and they are calling a trainer on the field, but when you see a guy that big in chase behind you, you have to make a decision very quickly, and that's what we got there. But perhaps a guy that's going to have to come off, at least based off of what we see in the way that arm's tucked in. That could have been goal number 1, though.
Daniel De Leon, the kind of player that at this level, when you are a new club, he's got the kind of experience that you want. He played 23 times for New York Red Bull 2 and USL Championship last year. That's a really, really good standard. Started his pro career in Costa Rica. It's one position you never want to have to make a change, especially in the first half of a match. Yeah, that's not going to feel too good either. His center back. Well, maybe there's some future NISA players among those 5. It's always nice to see Michigan Stars youth players out here at Stars matches. Jacob Campbell's long throw. Knocked down, headed sideways. And Clovers able to knock that off of Campbell, who missed the opening couple of matches this year. He had sports hernia surgery immediately after last year's NISA final, and it took him some time to recover. But he does give them that little added dimension, being able to scoot up that left wing and get crosses into the box. I remember him putting in an absolute peach of a ball to Stephen Elias, who's now with City Union, and win over LA Force last year. De Leon has been waved back onto the pitch, by the way. That's a lovely touch if Bowie can get on the wrong side of Chandler Vaughn. But the whistle goes against him. He's making the case to Nicole Green that he was pulled. And to the linesman. Anybody who'll listen, really.
Yeah, the backhand immediately went to the back of the jersey, and he was certainly politicking to have the call go the other way.
De Leon being allowed to inch his way forward. Marriage putting a bit of pressure on. Hogben read it well. Urides is offside.
That's where that discipline that you talked about earlier about keeping your shape, especially on the backside, is so important, because a lot of times if you aren't disciplined to play your position, to stay in your spot, and to keep the formation, that's how a lot of times you can get some of those passes that leak through before a guy's called offsides. And I think them just being very diligent and staying where they're supposed to be certainly helps draw unforced errors like that.
Well, in last year's center back duo for the Stars, Matt Constant and Vasilio Zogos were so darn good. They've both moved on to new pastures. You have to replace those guys with a new pair who have never played with or against each other before. They don't know each other's tendencies until they're getting into training. One of those things that just takes a bit of time. Organic chemistry, so to speak. Another Moyers long throw. Line drive is headed on, but there's nobody at the back post to take another touch. Just to tend to Makruva. Baranovsky. Nice ball for Bowie, who spins away, and that's touched into the path of Jacob Campbell. He's got a couple to aim out of the box, looking for Marich. Instead, he hits the upright. Couldn't get the hip round on that one. He had Ezra Brown in the box as well.
That was still a great touch by Bowie to free up Campbell to get that free run. That's the kind of ball movement it's going to take. And just get that extra touch. So many times, especially in these leagues, you and I see players who try and do everything, try and make a move on their own instead of facilitating, and that was a nice job by Bowie just to try and set something up, and Campbell nearly made Savannah pay for it.
It's passing and movement that is going to unlock a defense. That's another good ball. This started with Shaibu Jr. There's his cross right into the arms of Russell Robles. It's nice to have someone so long-legged that can sit at the base of your midfield like Shaibu Jr. does. That's Sanchez. Vaughn just tall enough to keep that in play. Baranovsky's clearance only as far as Moyers. And Sanchez. Urides made a nice move up ahead of him to stay on side. Urides with a chance. That's over the top. Boy, he got into a really, really good area.
Had to fight off 2 defenders as well, just trying to get any piece of his body on that ball. It was a great job after kind of being assaulted in the middle of the box there, just to get anything on it. And not only that, but made what I think may have been our best opportunity that we've seen so far tonight, really.
I think you're right. Neither side has been able to create a whole heck of a lot to this point. So Shandon Wright charging out of the back, but he's given that up cheaply to Baranovsky. He had Bowie ahead of him. We're allowed to play on.
Baranovsky's still down, slow to get up.
And I think we might have a booking when the ball goes out of play.
I think you're correct.
And Nicole Green is looking around for Shandon Wright.
There
Now
it is.
finds him. Brandishes the yellow card.
Looked like a panicked mother in the shopping mall trying to find her child. Where is he? Where is he?
Well, and Shandon knew that was coming too, so you never want to make yourself easily available
He may have
and
been
identifiable
sheepish
to a
coming
referee.
back, yeah. The hang-dogged expression as you come back. Yeah, I know.
Hogbin with a good aerial win. Shaibu Jr. knocking it ahead. Marich trying to get under it. Easier said than done with so many green shirts trying to jockey for position with you.
Savannah has done a good job of committing an extra shirt or two, just trying to make sure that he can't use that big frame just to corral the ball and get a good attempt. The problem is sometimes that might leave somebody else open.
Sanchez looking for that curving run from Vaughn. Here comes Campbell, who can certainly go past you. Marich tried to open it up so that that ball could find Bowie. The Savannah defender got in the way, and they've got a free kick. A few yards inside their own half. Nice try, Andrew Berriman. That's about 7 yards too far forward.
Well, the Stars took a throw in about 20 yards past where they were supposed to, so they figured might as well go the other direction.
Yeah.
See if we can get away with one the other way.
If you're going to try and get away with something, you should at least do it to help yourself.
Yeah, not to your detriment.
No. There's Berriman tussling with Ahmed Shaibu Jr. This would be a really long throw for Moyers.
Smart play to slow it up and let everybody get downfield.
Well, that is headed on. It almost worked for Savannah. Makruva going immediately. This will find Marich, who's only got one up in support. That didn't happen quickly enough to find Bowie. It's given away. Here comes Berriman. Sanchez was asking for it at feet. Instead, trying to play it through the channel for Iarides. Didn't work. And Brown got stepped on.
Yeah, you could hear his scream all the way up here. He was a little ginger getting up on that right ankle.
A former St. Kitts and Nevis Youth International has a master's degree in educational entrepreneurship from Penn. Really bright young man. Great work rate, both attacking and defensively. Almost got on the end of that deflected ball through the middle.
That was an all-or-nothing play for Robles there. If he doesn't make that, it's 1-0 Stars.
Urides found Bunting. Vaughn will rescue this. Berriman made himself available. That's well won by Baranovsky. Hogbin allowed to carry it forward again. Wasn't on for Campbell, though. They'll recycle. Out of play.
Savannah is so compact. I almost feel like when Stars settles the pace down a little bit, it's to their detriment. I know based off of what we've seen and kind of what this Michigan Stars club is known for is more of their defensive approach, but they might need to be a little bit more faster paced, because if you're going to allow Savannah to get back and get organized, it's going to make it really hard to counter.
Our other NISA match on 11 this evening, by the way, also 0-0. That's between Chattanooga FC and Maryland Bobcats. So across the league, we're waiting for our first goal of the night. Club de Leon and Albion played yesterday, I think it was. Club de Leon winners 2-1. Ignacio Ten Lopez scoring for fun up near the top of the league scoring charts with Marcus Nagelstad. Hogbin's pulled out to the left flank here. Brown couldn't keep it in play. De Leon has shrugged off that early big nasty bruise plus elbow injury. Hanging in there at the back for Savannah Clovers. Have you ever been to Savannah, Georgia, by the way?
I have been through. I have never been.
I've never been either. I'd really like to. And I knew very little about Savannah before I started doing research on the Clovers for this match. I'd always heard it was nice, and the photos I found online certainly backed that up.
Well, of course, the thing they're known for now is the Bananas, who are the
That's true.
baseball team that everybody wants to see.
Yeah, I think we were due for a good barnstorming team again. Knotted out for a Michigan Stars throw-in. Actually, I think when I get back home, I might start looking at flights down to Savannah. I'd really, really like to get down. Michigan Stars would like to get up. 1-0 would feel pretty good right now in the 34th minute. Campbell on throw-in duty again. Hit to the edge of the box and cleared away by Bunting. Andres Schalba, the furthest Michigan Stars player back. Hogbin, now the flag goes up against him.
I wondered if they were going to put it up. Robles was asking for it in net. Maybe a delayed flag, but that was one that, if that was allowed to stand, I think you would have seen some folks in green that would have been upset.
De Leon coming forward. Urides has been lively in the first half. Here picks out Sanchez. Trying to get down the line for a cross. Jacob Campbell not giving an inch. Bowie trying to bring that away, and that I think came up and hit him in the arm. So a free kick in a potentially threatening area for Savannah.
Bowie was frustrated, I think. was able to do a nice job to win that ball back, and that is the frustration of the sport sometimes when it takes a hop off that artificial surface like that and you can't really control when it comes up and gets you in the arm or the hand. And as you said, in such an advantageous spot for Savannah right now.
This is Zach Hargreaves, born in Manchester. Played collegiately at Southern Wesleyan, Indiana Wesleyan, and Missouri State. Hargreaves clipping it over the wall, looking for Hunt, who hits the side netting.
That was a great try.
Flag was up anyway. Near side AR put up his flag immediately.
But Ford Hunt nearly. Of course, if he was able to stay on side, but still it was a very nice attempt.
Umada's only option was Shalba. That's a really good ball. Keeper way off the line. Leon Marich has scored. What a finish from the big fella. Leon Marich get the Stars on the board in the 37th minute.
Well, you wonder if that's the youth of Russell Robles there. He's been dangerous playing so far up the field, and Marich was able to put him in a bind, and Robles committed. And just that little over the top, and just watch it painfully trickle in if you're Russell Robles. They've been trying to go to the big man so often.
Has scored!
And finally pays off.
What a finish! Has scored! Big man. What a finish! Leon Marich has scored! What a finish! Leon Marich has scored! In celebration. What a perfectly timed ball from Andres Shalban to set him up. And I think you're right to point out the youth of Robles there came absolutely storming off his line.
He's done that a few times. We almost saw again Ezra Brown make him pay earlier in this half. If he doesn't corral a ball that was coming through, Brown would have pretty much had an open net to go ahead and tap one home as well. But the thing you like there about Marich is the heady play. I think a lot of times when you're that big, you tend to rely probably too much on your physical imposing size to get position, and that time that was more of a cerebral goal in my opinion by Marich to recognize how far up Robles was playing and knowing that he just had to make one move, and once Robles committed, it was going to be an easy goal as long as he was able just to dunk it over the top.
And here's Campbell, who's drifted into space here but couldn't corral the long diagonal. I do wonder if it might change the approach from Savannah Clovers a little bit. They try to commit more players forward to get an equalizer. If nothing else, they need to make sure the score stays 1-0 going into halftime. The last thing you want to do is concede in the final 5 minutes of the half. You don't want to concede in the first 5 or final 5 minutes of any half.
Well, and certainly if Stars gets a second goal to their advantage, all of a sudden you're not going to see a lot of offensive effort from the Stars in that second half because they'll be content to just go ahead and play defense the rest of the match. 2 goals by no means insurmountable, but with the way that this group plays defensively, it becomes a much taller task if you've got to get 2 instead of 1.
Drops to Bowie. Scoop for Marich to, well, before he can latch onto it, the flag goes up. Terrific piece of finishing by Leon Marich, putting Michigan Stars 1-0 up. Umeda saw that coming, but Esser Brown didn't. Well, acres of space. Ford Hunt was waiting for the whistle to come for a free kick and didn't. So Umeda scoops this through the middle. That's a lovely ball for Anthony Bowie, who hits the crossbar. That would have absolutely broken Savannah Clovers' back, so that gone in. Shalban will try one. That's blocked by Moyers. Shalbat still up there. Marich there too. Moyers with the boot away. Shaibu Jr. over to the left back. Campbell trying to really put the Clovers to the sword here late in the half.
You wonder if David Proctor is going to have something to say to Ford Hunt, though, in the locker room during the break. That totally is set up because of the fact that he sat waiting for a call to come that never came. And it's one thing to sit there and try and let the officials know your opinions on things, but it can't be at the detriment of play. And as you so eloquently put it, if that goes through from Bowie, all of a sudden what feels like possible all of a sudden changes to impossible with...
Well, they're allowing Campbell so much space here on the left. There's the deep cross. Too much for Shalbut. You were saying?
I was going to say, it just feels like all of a sudden, if that second goal goes in, it just changes everything. And you hate it to come because of a counterattack that happened because you had a guy that was sitting trying to get a call to go his way. You try not to get into the whole sportsmanship kind of thing at this level just because these are guys that get paid and it is part of the sport a little bit, but sometimes guys take it too far and that's something that you can't do. Again, lucky there that it doesn't break the backs of Savannah this time.
They've got a throw in. Got to fight their way back into it now. This time it's the Stars allowing space for Sanchez, but nobody to latch onto it.
And certainly getting back to that last scoring opportunity, not something you want to take away from how great of an attempt it was from Anthony Bowie just to get it on his boot and unleashed a laser that just unfortunately kissed off the front of that crossbar. It was a great job to win the ball in space and just uncork one.
Yeah, needed maybe more placement, less power.
Yeah.
Again, Michigan Stars will clump guys around the edge of the 6. Good hands by Robles. There was a push in there for good measure. Dealer's choice, either a free kick or he can punt it or throw it away himself. Shalbot won that cleanly. Marich back to Shalbot up the right. Marich on his horse, racing through the middle. There's the low cross. DeLeon scuffed the attempted clearance, and then Ezra Brown with a push on Mason Moyers.
I did like the touch, though, from Marich back to the outside. Really been impressed with the IQ of Marich in this first half. As I said, a lot of times it feels like when you've got guys that are that big, they tend to try and do everything with brute strength, and Marich is really smart in his placement when he touches back to teammates to set up a counter.
Well, here comes Andrew Berriman. Nearly a one-man counterattack here. Reedy's had just straight offside. Shot was off the football crossbar anyway.
Yeah, I assume they're keeping time on the field because
scoreboard hasn't
is not
been powered on here at Barnabout. Vaughn, Urides. Well, he goes down. Goal kick. You know, whenever a referee points in the general direction of the spot. You're thinking, okay, is it a penalty or is it just a goal kick? Just a goal kick. Ioannidis, though, is the kind of attacking player that really forces you to leave a foot in and bring him down. Being impressed with him so far.
Well, like you said, the attacking prowess is backed up by the amount of goals he had when he played with Jacksonville.
Yeah, with Jacksonville Armada's under-23 side, 18 goals in 19 games last year. Well, it's halftime here at Barnabo Field in Romeo, Michigan. This game finally springing to life for the 37th minute. A picture-perfect ball through from Andres Chalbot. Leon Marich chipped it over the onrushing Russell Robles. They almost got a second goal a minute or two after that. Anthony Bowie being played in by Umeda and cracking one into the crossbar. Savannah Clovers, their first year in Nisa, they'll have it all to do in the second half. 45 minutes in the books. Michigan Stars 1, Savannah Clovers 0. Well, Michigan Stars are set to go for the second 45 minutes here at Barnabo Field in Romeo. They're happy to be back home again for the first time in about 5 weeks. The Leon Marich goal set up by Andres Chalbad is the difference right now. That came in the 37th minute. It's 1-0. Michigan Stars leading Savannah Clovers. Mason Lowry and Chris Schmidbauer with you in the booth. Great to have you here. Michigan Stars will make a halftime substitution. Ezra Brown will go off, and Nash Popovich comes on, scored the winner off the bench last time out against Maryland Bobcats. I believe Savannah are unchanged here. So Brown off, Popovich on. Popovich, former Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year as a grad transfer at Michigan, scored 10 goals, assisted on 4 more. He's got quite the pedigree. If he can give the Stars 45 good minutes here, that will go a long way towards them cementing the 3 points.
Well, and especially if he can be as effective scoring as he was during his collegiate days. He's already got 2 goals on the year for this team, and it's a guy who's got a nose for the net.
One was a penalty against Indy 11 in U.S. Open Cup action on the road, gave the Stars the lead over the USL Championship side, who went on to beat them 3-1 after extra time. The Stars
have a couple cracks at it as well in that first
that's
half.
a bad giveaway. Shalbad couldn't quite get there. Credit Robles coming quickly off his line.
Yeah, that was about to be 2.
Well, that's not a mistake that you want to make again. Robles came storming off his line, and Marich chipped him for the first goal. You don't want to do the opposite of that and stay on your line too long. The next time something similar happens, that's behind Marich. Off of Shalbad's heel. Here's Yakov Shmelev. Back to Tatenda Makruva. Good quick ball, Umeda. And now Campbell. But Popovich had peeled away. He was making a run towards the edge of the box right at the D. Not where the ball was played. Stars would love nothing more than a quick strike to start the second half. And you had mentioned it, Chris, first half, that if the Stars team gets 2 goals ahead, that's a heck of a mountain to climb. They're so confident and composed defensively and difficult to break down. We always talk about it on these broadcasts.
It's a foul behind the play, and I think the Stars are furious because they
wanted that to keep going.
Yep, they did. You could hear the bellows from that sideline.
Everybody,
without a problem.
Everybody shouting at Nicole Green.
Bowie had a run on that left side, and he looked like he had a step on the defender.
Well, if the Clovers come here and score, they will feel really aggrieved. This is Alex Iarides trying to cut in on the right foot. Nothing really on for him across to the edge of the 18. And Makruva watches it wide. That was Sanchez. All is forgiven now.
Well, if they get an equalizer, meaning Savannah gets one at some point. I don't know that there will be, because I think some folks probably on that Stars sideline feel like that was perhaps goal number 2, or at least leading in that direction.
Well, the ball boy's just been sitting on the ball here for several minutes now. Detenda Makruva really needs one. The previous one had gotten a little deflated. Somebody's going to get deflated after the next goal, presuming there is another one. Nice footwork by Ahmed Shaibu Jr. Scoop through, looking for Marich. Won't find him. Will find Popovich. That's a scuffed shot right at Russell Robles.
Almost feels like it was rushed just a little bit. There was more space to play, and I think, than realized at that point.
That's a great read by Baranovsky. And Marich here will be onside. He's got to run up there with him. Just wide. No, that was Baranovsky trying to finish it off after starting a move himself. So close. Still 1-0.
However, if you're a Stars fan, even though the finish doesn't happen, that's a great read in midfield to intercept a pass like that. And Stars are starting to get a little bit better in anticipating those. We've seen a couple here early on in this second half.
Well, Wright kept going despite the tackle from Umeda. Sanchez arriving on the right. 2 to Amat in the middle. That hits off of Jacob Campbell. Berriman's the short option. Sanchez, flag is up.
Stars just do such a good job, even when there's a run going the other way, of getting organized quickly. Don't see guys scrambling trying to get in position. They just find their spots. They're really well coached in that respect.
Yeah, they rotate and drop off, etc. very, very well. I feel like they are starting to resemble the back line of last year that was so rarely scored on. And we said it just takes time with a new group of guys to find the same level of understanding that Zogos and Constant did last year. Helps when the right and left back and goalkeeper are the same, Shmelev and Campbell, and of course Makruva, the captain.
Well, we've seen certainly once you get to playoff time, it's not necessarily who is the best on paper, it's who's playing the best, and everything is building up towards that late autumn playoff session. And if memory serves, this group was third in the table at the end of the regular season last year and were able to find themselves a championship.
It's quickly back to Marich in the corner. Throw-in will stay with the Stars. Another long throw then from Campbell. Baranovsky's got a long way to go, not yet in your picture. Now he is. Shalbot and Umeda both drop off. Everybody else is up in and around the 18-yard box. Trying to win that first ball. Hogben almost did. Partially cleared. Bowie challenges in the air. Hogben, that's a nice ball for Shmelev. Can he pull this back across? He can. Hogben's shot was blocked. Bowie has a go, and it's wide.
The great play by Zach Hargreaves to just get in front and deflect, because that was an opportunity at a putback. Wasn't necessarily the greatest attempt, but Sometimes on those rebounds, you get out of position and come off your line a little bit and caught scrambling.
Sliced out for a throw-in. Just on the other side of the Savannah Clovers bench area, David Proctor is their head coach, a Yorkshireman. He's been an academy head coach with both Colorado Rapids and Columbus Crew. Marich had to come back for that. Umeda for Campbell. Bowie's running ahead. He's got De Leon on his hip. Bowie's cross. Oh, that's poked to the back stick, and Popovich couldn't get there in time. Tiarides for Barrowman. Chandler Vaughn. With Barrowman calling Chandler at him. Ahmed commits the foul. He's got a bit too much of his man, and Barrowman's got to take it back a few yards. De Leon forced to turn back. Happens a lot against Michigan Stars. Umeda nearly won that. Bowie couldn't keep it in play. Savannah Clovers will make their first change. Benjamin Mackay comes on, and Joel Bunting departs.
'22 McKay checks in for the Clovers for number 9, Bunting.
So it is a Clovers free kick after some confusion. Up here, anyway. It's Zach Hargreaves, the captain. Not a name that we've called a ton this evening. Former Burnley and Barrie youth player back in his native England. Goal kick for the Stars.
De Leon did a good job to get to that ball and try and deflect something towards Makruva. Savannah has not had much of an attack here in this second half, and again, part of that's credit to the Stars, but I do think, as you mentioned when we came out of that halftime break, it might be necessary for Savannah to start pressing a few more green shirts down pitch.
Robles calls forward, makes the fair catch on the edge of his box. Will this find Iarides? Yes, it will. Good control. Shmelev plows through him.
I was going to say that was a good tackle by Shmelev.
Find Iarides again. Vaughn made an overlapping run, went infield to Barrowman instead. Hargreaves now. Moyers, kind of an awkward touch, but finds Hunt anyway. That's nice. Mackey over the top. McCruma did get a touch. It's a corner for Savannah Clovers.
These are the opportunities here. If you're David Proctor, you want to try and come up with whatever your best set piece is here, because if you can get an equalizer here in this half, all of a sudden, again, that pressure goes back to the Stars. Right now they're playing with house money a little bit.
Iurides corner. Baranovsky wins in the air. Bowie heads it a bit further on. 11 behind the ball for the Stars, and that shot speculative at best from Barrowman. Pulled it wide.
Felt like a little bit of a panic move from Barrowman there. Felt the red shirts were closing in and just got to get rid of it. Didn't want to turn it over. But I think the thing that stands out to me, you had said on the car ride up here, is a Stars team that is very difficult to score against. And if you're just watching for the first time like I am, the thing that impresses me the most is they just really are very tactical, but they're also advantageous in the way that they collapse. There is not a whole lot of time where someone in a green shirt touches the ball and there isn't a red shirt within a few steps.
By the way, there's been a goal in our other NISA match this evening, and it's Maryland Bobcats going 1-0 up against Chattanooga FC. Darwin Espinal, standout for the Bobcats, scoring in the 57th minute. 65 minutes gone there now, and still 1-0 to the Bobcats. Chattanooga unbeaten so far in the season and sitting atop the table. Maryland 25 minutes and change away from taking them down. Quickly back to Berriman from Vaughn. Can he find an angle for a shot? He'll try. Tries to curl that into the top corner and puts it over the bar.
One of the few times a player has had space. Granted, that's going to be a tough shot to hit from that far out, but certainly Barrowman made people think about it a little bit more, as Tatenda Makruva probably had to play that a little bit more than he thought he was going to have to.
Well, interesting. The goal scorer comes off for Michigan Stars. Leon Marich departs and Hunter Olson comes into the midfield.
Hunter Olson.
He's a guy that can carry the ball. He's the most forward-thinking of a midfield three, playing presumably ahead of Ahmed Shaibu Jr. and Kotaro Umeda.
Well, what a college career Hunter Olson had. 46 goals, 28 assists in 4 seasons. Was the National Midfielder of the Year in Division III.
Yeah, went to Calvin.
The young man who certainly shows he has a prowess offensively.
He's a very, very talented player. He and Nash Popovich were teammates with Oakland County FC in USL League 2 last year. On the break comes Savannah Clovers. Alex Iurides here near the corner. Trying to scoop that through the middle and does for Berriman, but hammered away by Shmelev. Shandon Wright, deepest for Savannah. Barrowman, now Hargreaves. And Olson just got too much of his man. Vaughn's got pace. Can he get around Shalbot? Yes. Can he keep it in play? Yes, but the cross goes behind. Marich's goal in the 37th minute is the difference. Played in by Andres Shalbot, his second assist of the year. Andres has a really talented younger brother, Sebastian, who I saw play for Fort Wayne FC in USL2 last week. He scored twice against Toledo Villa. He is some player, plays collegiately at High Point. Umeda can keep this in. Want to throw in.
You almost wonder if De Leon would have been better served just to let that ball keep going through. There was nobody in a red shirt within about 10 yards of that pass, and instead he deflected it out and gave it right back to the Stars.
Bowie's up there. Good ball to find him. Stayed onside. Shelbot, though, had gone down to the box. Throw in goes to the Clovers.
Shelbot was looking out, hoping maybe a whistle was coming his way. Took an extra second or so to get up off the turf. Usually that indicates you're looking for some kind of call.
Or you're out of gas.
Could be.
Need to collect yourself. Shelbot latching onto it from Popovich. Left-footed crosses behind everyone. Retrieved by Olsen. Shaibu Jr. just over the top. I think he tucked that between the two crossbars.
Very close to 2-0. Went for that top right corner. As you said, just slightly off.
Savannah makes a change. Shaibu Jr. Justin. Shaibu Jr. Justin. Shaibu to Greater Detroit for Adon Tate, who was very briefly with the Stars at the beginning of last year.
Number 11, Tate checks in for
played in college at UConn. Sure, he'd love nothing more than to get one back against his former club.
I'm sure it means a little extra to him.
Shandon Wright running out right out of play.
If you go back to that first meeting, as you said earlier, it was a 1-1 draw between these two teams. Stars have done their part to try and replicate that scoreline. They're obviously hoping there's no equalizer coming.
Second goal surely would put Savannah away.
Feels like that's kind of that breaking point right now, especially with the lack of meaningful attacks that have been generated at the other end, especially in this half. Stars have been, as I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but just really good defensively and staying organized, playing their assigned positions, playing the field and not the ball. A lot of the basics, but they do it really well.
Yeah, they just so rarely give their opponents a whole lot to work with.
You can feel at the other end when Savannah does maybe have an opportunity at going for goal. A lot of those decisions have been rushed. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of time to kind of gather your thoughts and think tactically about it.
Now Schmelev waited for that, maybe shouldn't have. It's been picked off by Chandler Vaughn.
Just about to say, it's plays like these that sometimes can lead to an equalizer, though.
Urides had it back, but not for long. All Tate can do is thump that out of play. pass off of Vaughn. Bowie was asking for the throw quickly. Eat a wee bit of time instead. Popovich couldn't quite swing it across to Bowie.
Bowie would love to get that second goal. He's had a few moves in this match to try and get himself on the score sheet. Of course, the loudest was that one off the crossbar late in the first half.
Urides again. Nothing out ahead just yet. Vaughn for Tate. DeLeon bringing it forward after changing the point of attack. That stuck to Hargreaves. Couldn't play the right ball for Urides.
A little too much sauce on the pass. Urides had peeled away from his defender. Again, if that one's put, he might have a chance, but right back to Makruva without much of a play that had to be made.
It does change the aerial game with no Leon Maric on the pitch.
For sure, you can definitely see the attack has had to change just out of necessity. Stars
Tate
were very content to go over the top.
Tate spun down. And that's to Umeda, the yellow card.
But as I was saying, in that first half, the offensive attack was largely trying to go over top and let Maric kind of operate and set up counterattacks. And again, he was able to make Robles make that mistake in that first half and able just to pop one over the top for the easy goal. But when you don't have that size out there, I think they were hoping that maybe there would be a little bit more of an opportunity with some fresh legs out there. That hasn't materialized just yet. Still some time left, though.
Michigan Stars yellow card assessed to number 8, Taro Umeda, in the 29th minute.
Right over the top, not enough to find Vaughn.
If nothing else, that booking at least allows us to know how much time has elapsed in this half. No more guessing.
Well, here comes Popovich. The man back deepest is Shandon Wright. Popovich goes around him. He can seal it here, and he has. That's why he's here. Nash Popovich tucks it away. It's 2-0 to the Stars.
He got a step on his defender, and good luck staying with Nash Popovich after that. A lot of folks down in Ann Arbor probably saw that quite a bit a few seasons ago, but he got a step. It was a great ball that was put right on him, and then Robles is left in no man's land trying to figure out what he's going to do.
Well, he got away from Shandon Wright to make it 2-0 Michigan Stars. Popovich has now come off the bench to score in back-to-back matches for the reigning NISA champions. Michigan Stars 2, Savannah Clovers 0.
Well, we heard from some of the Stars brass before the game that they really like what Nash Popovich brings to the table. And we said, we just literally were talking about the different pace and change to which the Stars have changed how they attack. And trying to prepare for both styles, whether you've got a guy that's big and can kind of eat up some space and set up downfield versus a guy who's maybe got an extra step on defenders. Good luck trying to prepare for both of those.
Good control by Mackey.
Now, if you're Savannah, you've got to kind of abandon worrying about conceding another goal. The worst has happened at really doesn't make much of a difference whether it's 2 or 3. So try and put it all out there and get 1 back.
Sanchez couldn't keep that in.
Got roughly about 15 minutes or so. See if you can get 1 and let it go from there. You and I have caught a lot of games with folks who have said the 2-goal lead is more dangerous
Well, that's
than
true.
the 1 goal because you tend to relax a little bit. And we'll see if the Stars can stave off perhaps relaxing just a bit.
Savannah making essentially a line change here.
Yeah, they want some fresh legs as well for this final stretch run to see if they can generate anything.
Really have to chase after it now. Yakov Pomazov is on number 10. Michael Green, 16.
See, Green is being uber aggressive here. You can see the message from the sideline has been get upfield and try and create something.
Campbell rode that well, gave it to Ahmed Shaibu Jr.
Stars want to be careful here too, not to get sucked in. We see a lot of times when the team that's trailing ramps up the pressure, the other team tends to get in that mode a little bit and speed up their play. It's important for the Stars to remember they're on top. They don't need to do anything with any sort of pace here.
Popovich was caught unaware there as he was peeling away. It's given right back to the Clovers. Bowie's clearance bounds out for a throw-in. Umid has had a good game. Not sure I could identify a Michigan Stars player that hasn't. It's been a very solid workman-like performance all the way around. 2 really well taken goals. You know, that's been a knock against Michigan Stars the last couple of seasons. Even last year when they won the league, they didn't score a ton, and they still don't, but always nice when you can get a goal from each of your center forwards.
I think, too, the fact that you come home, as you said, it's the first home game in a while. You want to come out, not necessarily put on a show, but taking care of your home field is always important in any sport.
Hunter Olsen got the feed from his former Oakland County teammate Popovich.
You also want to beat a team that, as far as the table is concerned, you're supposed to beat.
Well, not only that, a team that, in the eyes of the Michigan Stars, took a point from you last time.
Right.
That was a result that I'm sure the reigning champs weren't overly enamored with.
Well, and you might have seen the growth that you had talked about. That was an early season match. You don't have a lot of experience with that back line. Perhaps guys got out of position. Somebody made a read that the other thought was going to anticipate with those center backs that are new. Maybe you're starting to see that growth, as you mentioned earlier, take over a little bit, and why we're seeing the result be just a bit different tonight. I was going to say earlier when there was the turnover at midfield that Chandler Vaughn was able to pick up and try and counterattack for Savannah, that it felt like the only way that the Clovers were going to score was off of a mistake that the Stars had that kind of allowed something to gather steam in the other direction. And tonight, we haven't seen a whole lot of mistakes from this group either defensively. Not a lot of turnovers or opportunities that have led to odd rushes the other way.
Well, the Stars getting Milo Barton and Robert Yunchai into the match. And a change at keeper as well. Noah Lawrence comes on, the backup.
They were very adamant that that was something they wanted to give Noah some time tonight, get him a taste of action.
You know, the hope was that they would get a multiple goal lead in the second half and they could give him a little taste. And they have now 2-0, Michigan Stars leading.
As you said, not a whole lot has gone wrong for the home team. You got to feel pretty good about where they sit. Of course, all of those guys are probably saying they want to keep that clean sheet right now.
Noah Lawrence got 54 games at the college level at Cincinnati and Ohio State. That's obviously a really, really good standard.
As far as Midwest is concerned, it sure is.
Stars throw it right in line with the edge of the 18-yard box.
You just wonder how often Nash Popovich and Noah Lawrence get into it in the locker room. Old rivalries die hard.
Well, Lawrence, at least not a native of Ohio or Michigan. He's from Mount Vernon, New York. Started with DC United. Before college ball, Ahmed Shaibu's shot blocked. Clovers trying to scramble it away, and they will. They're trying to break against the Stars, but they've got numbers back. Campbell and Shalbut had dropped off to thwart a quick counterattack. They'll have to build against Savannah. Berriman. Tate now. Berriman, I think, had the ball caught between his feet. Stars throw in. Much to, I think that was Berriman who looked at the sky and just bellowed, "What?"
Well, he actually won
like
the
Captain
appeal.
Kirk yelling about Khan.
He won his appeal, though. They reversed the call.
All you can do is look to the heavens. Popovich being held. Barton's up there trying to carry that into the 18, wins the throw.
Just a casual shove from behind as well as he went through the box. Just a love tap. I think it was Shandon Wright who had that forearm shiver into the between the shoulder blades there.
Bowie's turn for the high arcing long throw in, doesn't come off. Shalbot deepest. And a touch for Noah Lawrence. Under a bit of duress.
He, much like we talked about with Robles, has to be very careful about how aggressive he is. Now, granted, this is why he's out here. Want to give him some opportunity.
Well, you know, and when you learn from Tatenda Makruva, he's so good at playing that sweeper-keeper role, always being out of his box. And Lawrence, like Makruva, a really good athlete. In fact, it's the opinion of some of the Michigan Star staff that Noah Lawrence is one of the best keepers in the division. Trouble is, he's behind arguably the best. Grabbed on the line by Robles. Milo Barton's header. Son of former England international Warren Barton, now a television commentator.
Getting back to Lawrence, that's why it's so important to get him some minutes, because Makruva obviously is going to carry the bulk of those, but you never know. You're always a play away from being that backup keeper, and they need to get Lawrence up to speed, because when you sit and kind of gather that rust, so to speak. It's hard to knock that off sometimes, so it's really important for the coaching staff to pick spots when it makes sense for Lawrence to get some game action. And again, it was probably to the delight of a lot of the guys on that far side that they were able to get that 2-goal advantage so they could bring them in.
De Leon's cross, not a bad effort, just over the head of Chandler Vaughn. Clovers have a corner. Trying to get one back here late. Getting one would certainly give the Stars something to think about. Corner taken quickly. Back post delivery and thumped over everything by De Leon.
It's a great ball. Put it right where it needed to be. De Leon just coming with a little bit too much pace, and when you're running that fast and you run into the ball like that with a header, it's hard to slow it down.
Robert Yunchai just losing out to Yakov Pomazov. Marshaled through to Lawrence.
We got to make sure it was secure there.
Every second helps.
Well, it's good to see his stalling tactics don't have any rust on him. The gamesmanship.
Didn't stall much, mind you.
That's true.
2 seconds.
It's always fun towards the end of a game when you see some of that delay tactics come out. You guys spin the ball about 8 or 9 times and bounce it another 3 times just to make sure it's right. They don't know is the officials are definitely keeping tally of all that. But
some seem to, and some seem to not bother with it. Of course, we know in internationals these days they are counting every literal second.
Oh, yeah. There's some during that World Cup last year. Stoppage time like 9 minutes.
USA and New Zealand in the under-20 round of 16 a few days ago. Same 9 minutes of time added on at the end of the second half, and everybody, especially New Zealand, just wants to get out of there. Comes Yakov Pomazov. Good read. Shalbot still with lots of energy. Smacked that off of Tate. Barrowman gave it to him. He's down in some pain, Andres Shalbot. But it's not a head injury, so Nicole Green has no obligation to stop play. Good read by Milo Barton, really good.
It was a nice sign of sportsmanship. I think it was Tate that was checking to make sure he was okay. And
played with him briefly last year. One
of his teammates yelling, "Leave him, leave him." They know how important it is to have that man advantage, perhaps.
Three minutes of time added on.
3 minutes of stop time. 3 minutes.
So into stoppage time. Olsen got a bit of a push. Throw in for the Clovers. Mackey giving chase for Savannah with Campbell. Goal kick. So we haven't seen a lot of the Michigan Stars at home this season. This is their first home match in about 5 weeks. Their next 5 will be on the road as well against Club de Leon, Albion San Diego, Gold Star, Savannah Clovers again, and Chattanooga FC again. They'll be back here July 14th against LA Force. A team who this year has been kind of similar to the Stars. They don't concede much. They don't score many. Robert Yunchai has stayed on side. The cross, oh boy, on the edge of the 6. Sonny Quintanilla, one who had come out of that line change earlier for the Clovers, had a tough time dealing with it. Was able to get it away in the end. Shaibu has had I think, a really quietly effective match, breaking things up.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say what a great win that was for him.
That's the kind of job when you're in that number 6 role as a holding midfielder trying to break up play. You really only notice them when they're doing something wrong. It's kind of like a referee, in fact.
Yeah, I think
that's not to say that Nicole has had a poor night. She hasn't.
Nicole Green, though, might agree with that sentiment. She doesn't hear a lot of compliments, I'm sure.
Yeah, referees rarely do that. Probably ought to change. And Nicole just had a quick glance at her watch. Berriman twisting and turning. It's a lovely drag down the line. If he can get a cross in, Noah Lawrence has it. Down he goes. Tale as old as time. Well, he's looked confident and composed.
Yeah, you're going to be thrilled coming out of tonight with the play here in the last half. Not that Savannah has generated anything of real significance, but Noah Lawrence, you're coming in and you're asking him to just keep the ship steady, and that's what he's done these last 15 minutes or so. Also will give him a little confidence should he need to step in to tend to Makruva at any point, that he can come in.
Well, that's 3 big points for the Michigan Stars. They get a goal in each half and a goal from each center forward. Leon Maric in the 37th minute, Nash Popovich in minute 75, and again, a clean sheet for the Stars. The back line and goalkeeper, whether it's Makruva or Lawrence, holding midfielders doing their job. A really composed, workmanlike performance from the Ranger Chants.
Yeah, I think this team is really starting to